Hello everyone, Nitro Games here, and today I'm going to be reviewing Fortnite Chapter 5. So in this video I'll be discussing my opinions on the loot pool, battle pass, map, new changes, and final opinion of that season, and also the pros and cons. I'll be doing this for each season of the chapter, that being 4, and yeah, just enjoy the video I guess. Alright, so let's start off with Chapter 5, Season 1. First of all, this is probably my favorite season of the entire chapter, and for good reason too. Such as a really good loot pool we had. Now I know, we had the Reaper sniper rifle and the pre-nerf frenzy or the shotgun and the cluster clingers, but even then, like they did eventually all get nerfed apart from the cluster clingers, I'm pretty sure. And I feel like the rest of the loot pool was pretty well made. Such as an Nemesis AR and a Striker AR. Now I know most people prefer the Striker AR, but I actually prefer the Nemesis AR. And for good reason too. It does like Scar M16 like damage, and it's slightly slower than the Scar or M16, or the default assault rifle as it's called. And it's also projectile, but still like really consistent at hitting shots, and honestly it's really accurate and the space forms are good. Now for the Striker AR. This is a preferred assault rifle of that season for many, and honestly I don't really blame it. It's a decent assault rifle, and like even its base form is actually pretty good as well. And they did eventually add a new assault rifle later on in that season. I think it was like early January. They added it, and now it's the Enforcer AR. They buffed this thing quite a lot, and the only really upsides of it is a high damage and a fast reload. Other than that, this AR kind of sucks, especially in its base form. And now it's time to talk about the 2 shotguns of that season. Now there were 2 shotguns, well 4 if you want to count the mythics, but those are delicious guns anyway. And the first shotgun being the hammer pump shotgun. This is a pump shotgun of this chapter, and I'll see this gun so we can all agree this gun is it's really inconsistent with damage and all that, and unless you aim down sights with it, which took me a while to actually realize that aiming down sights with a hammer pump shotgun actually makes the damage consistent. Other than that, the shotgun is it's good sometimes, but terrible other times, and especially there have been some other overpowered auto shotguns throughout all of chapter 5 really. It's kind of a unfair comparison. Now speaking of auto shotguns, they added a new auto shotgun this season. That being the frenzy auto shotgun. This thing had stupidly long range, and also it was just a really good shotgun overall. If you paired the any frenzy auto shotgun with the ballistic shield and Reaper sniper rifle, you could drop a pretty high kill game, which I actually have some examples of using those weapons to get up to 17 kills solo 0 build. But yeah, overall it did eventually get nerfed, and it was kind of annoying that other people would use it, which I mean, what do you expect anyway? Honestly, the shotgun, pretty good shotgun, and yeah, now it's time to talk about the SMGs. There were 2 SMGs this season. I mean the Thunderburst, and the Thunderburst instead of the old other 2 burst SMGs, well, the old burst SMGs from season 9 and chapter 4 season 4 that fired in 4 burst. This one only fired in 3, and you might think that's worse, but then again, this SMG was really accurate, did a lot of damage, and also if I recall correctly, if you put a laser on it, it would make the hipfire accuracy, well, not a hipfire accuracy, it would make the hipfire accuracy better. But the crosshair when you aim down sights or hip fired with it would always be still A, wouldn't move at all. Now this didn't mean you had 100% accuracy on it, but it was still a nice feature they added. They also added a Hyper SMG, which is basically a worse version of the Stinger SMG with lower accuracy, more recoil, and slightly less damage. Also, both SMGs this season were pretty good, pretty decent SMGs overall. And they also had a Ranger pistol as well. Ranger pistol is really underrated in my opinion. This thing did solid damage, and they even buffed it later on just because no one really used it anyway. And honestly, the Ranger pistol, if you put like a muzzle brake and a drum mag on it, maybe even a laser or scope if you wanted to, this thing like would be an absolute beast. Now, it's kind of controversial one, but the ballistic shield. I mean, I used to use this all the time. Like, I have examples on my YouTube channel of abusing this like item. I won't say what. It had a weapon on it, but it wasn't entirely a weapon. The weapon on it was a fully automatic Ranger pistol, just with. Actually, no, it wasn't fully automatic. It was semi-auto, and it was like really inaccurate. The pistol on it was, but still decent anyway. Now, pretty controversial in the Reaper sniper rifle. This sniper rifle, like, our launch was insane. Like, the first month of Chapter 5, I'm pretty sure this thing... It's basically like the bolt-action sniper rifle. Like, it had the same, like, bullet, like, time as that, pretty much. But it held, like, 3 to 5 bullets in its mag. And it was surprisingly good at no-scoping and quick-scoping, too, surprisingly. And especially, like, if you put, like, a certain scope on it, like, there would be no sniper boom as well, so you wouldn't see if anyone's trying to snipe you at all. They also had cluster clingers this season, which I hate. To be honest, I died to these so many times. No matter how bad you are, you can still kill a really good player with it. Just because the like range they had was insane. And they also added the grapple blade and flowberry. These are both pretty good mobility items. Well, flowberry is also a consumable, and the grapple blade is also a melee weapon. I'm actually surprised they vaulted the grapple blade at the end, well, start of Season 2, the end of Season 1. Mostly the grapple blades are really balanced, like, it's probably one of the most balanced, like, ability items we've ever seen, really. And the flowberry just gives you low gravity and heals 15 shields, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's it for the loot pool of Chapter 5 Season 1. Overall, even though there was some overpowered stuff, which we all know what there is, like, the rest of it was pretty balanced and honestly overall good. Shame they vaulted, like, most of the stuff later on, like Season 2 and 3. Alright, now it's time to talk about the Battle Pass this season. Honestly, this Battle Pass it was the first Battle Pass I ever owned, but I'm glad I owned it. Now, the only reason I owned it really was because of Peter Griffin. My friend gifted it to me, like, around Christmas time. Which, I mean, shout out to him. The channel's on screen right now. Honestly, this Battle Pass is pretty good skins in it. It's just obviously Peter Griffin, Montague, Vengeance Jones, and Sword Snake. And this is probably, yeah, my favorite Battle Pass I owned so far. And I'm really glad I owned it as well. Now, they also had Super Styles as well. Which, I mean, they, like, almost all sucked apart from the first, like, Galaxy Styles. Which look good on almost every skin, really. And especially with Diamond Montague, if you had this Galaxy Superstars, and that would go really well. And the tier 100 for the season was Valeria, which I mean, it was kind of hard to put a tier 100 for that season, really. Like none of the characters really look like tier 100s that season anyway. Overall, quite disappointed in tier 100, but the rest of the Battle Pass was pretty good though. I'll give them that though. But another thing that was really good was the map this season. Now, there were some POIs that I really liked, which sadly, eventually got taken out. Like, some of them, even in the first season, really. Such as Hazy Hillside and Ritzy Reversa. Now, I also like Snooty Steeps before it became Sandy Steeps. And what else? And also Grand Glacier as well. That was my, like, go-to POI for some times. And what I liked about Grand Glacier as well is that despite being a mythic boss location, literally no one would land there anyway. Just because they preferred Nietzsche's assault rifle over Montague's one, but honestly I preferred Montague's assault rifle. And that's honestly why I like the POI really, because no one really lands there. Maybe like one team would, maybe. I'm not sure about ranked though, I mean maybe like 1 or 2 teams land there. I don't really play ranked that much. Yeah, overall the map this season was pretty good for a like season 1 map. I'll give them that though. Alright, so what were the new changes they made that season? Well, first of all, they added weapon mods and made every gun in the loot pool have a bullet drop in it. They added a new improved like wall climbing mechanism, which, I mean, that's a pretty good change they did, to be honest. They also added a train which was there for 3 seasons, because it wasn't there in season 3. for some reason. They said it's sewers, which didn't last for long, but were a pretty good change. And also the improved animations, which I mean they're not improved at all, they suck. Yeah, like movement animations they had. And they also introduced medallions as well, which we saw every other season throughout this chapter. Alright, so now my final opinion on this season, man. Overall, this season was pretty good. The live event was... it wasn't a live event, it was a mini event. That was kind of unexpected, but... I mean... if you really think about it, it wasn't that good, but then again, you should also be grateful for it. And the loot pool was a little bit unbalanced. There were some, like, balanced items, but there also were some overpowered ones, with, you know, the Reaper Sniper and all that, to name a few. Overall, like, what they did for season 1 was pretty good. It's just, like, there wasn't enough updates, so, like, I'll give them that. There was only, like, what, 3 main updates? The season only went up to a 0.30 update. For a season that lasted, like, what, 96 or something, I believe, days long. But yeah, overall, I liked season 1. Good battle pass, decent loot pool, pretty good map. And it was quite fun to play around, like, Christmas time and all that. Although there were still, like, sweats from the OG season, which have either left or still in the game now. Honestly, yeah, like, there was a point in the season where everything was, like, really stale and, like, everyone was waiting for it to end. But then again, when that, like, point usually happens, like, when you're on at the last week or couple of days, the season just feels nicer as well. Like, same with the current season we're at right now. Because I just played the, so I'm literally recording this, like, just after I, finished recording the, like, background gameplay. Almost won, but I didn't. And also, it's made me think that maybe Chapter 5, well, this season anyway, Chapter 5 is kind of mixed bag, but, like, it wasn't that bad overall. But yeah, now it's time to move on to Chapter 5, Season 2. Alright, so sadly the season wasn't as good as the first season. No, pretty much almost any of the season in that chapter. And for good reason too. Such as the loot pool wasn't that good. Now, yeah, we had some good additions like the Gatekeeper Shotgun. That's pretty much about it. I didn't really like the Warforged JR in its base form. Now the modded form is actually really good. But they also have the Huntress DMR, which I mean this thing should, like, DMR should perform like the Cobra Thermal DMR, not like the old DMR from Chapter 3, which this thing is more similar to. Anyway, and the bullet drop just kind of ruined the gun. But it was still nice hitting headshots for it, and it was still a pretty good gun either way. But in a gun that's probably one of the worst guns ever added to the game in my opinion, the Harbinger SMG. Now, even though they buffed this thing is literally uncontrollable. Like, the recoil and spread is so much to this gun. Like even if you mod it, the gun still sucks. It's truly, like, probably one of the worst SMGs in the game. I would literally pick the Charge SMG over the Harbinger SMG. It's that bad. They also added Thunderbolt of Zeus, which I actually really liked. One of my, like, favorite items of the chapter, really. And yeah, people did hate it, but like, when people used it against me, it wasn't that bad. But then when I used it, it was really good for some reason. This had the Wings of Icarus, which, I mean, that was pretty good mobility item too. Fair play to them. And yes, about it for what they added at the start. But then later on March 19th, they added the drum gun, which, well, the Chapter 5 drum gun, which is more powerful than the original drum gun, like, in its current state now. But I mean, we can all agree, like, when we use this, the recoil goes, like, way too much to the left or right, like, even when it's fully modded. And around this time as well, we got the hand cannon, the Chapter 5 version, which isn't that good. It kind of sucks. I mean, the original hand cannon is so much better, mostly because it doesn't have bullet drop on it. And yeah, it is nice to put mods in it, but they don't really improve the gun that much. And there wasn't that much point using it anyway, especially when it was like DMRs and the Reaper Sniper Rifle was still in the game anyway. And I forgot to mention about the Gatekeeper Shotgun. This shotgun is Arguably one of the best shotguns ever added. It's just like tied in first place with the Sovereign shotgun of the best shotgun of the chapter. And for good reason too. It held 3 to even 5 bullets in its mag. Although it was a mag-fed shotgun, so you had to reload the entire thing at once. But it was still really fast anyway. And also a really powerful shotgun. Okay, and then on April 2nd, they added water bending. And this thing at first it wasn't that bad. It was actually pretty good. It was like decent. It was. But at the same time, like same with this changes Hades, which I think I forgot to mention. Like this thing got like buffed way too much and was way too overpowered. And honestly, I hate warbending and changes Hades. They're like my 2 least favorite items of all time. Like yeah, they were powerful, but just too like overpowered they were. And it was not fun using them anyway. And other than that, we had the other avatar mythics. Like airbending was actually quite good. It was really fun to use. Earthbending and firebending. Well, earthbending wasn't that good. Firebending was decent and actually kind of balanced in comparison. But yeah, they also did a controversial decision of like vaulting the gods items like Wings of Icarus, Thunderbolt, and all that. But then after that, we also got the Chapter 5 Tactical AR. They're basically just like putting like old weapons in Chapter 5 form. This is worse than the original one. Even though it does like 1 more damage, though the gun should, but it's still really underpowered. Like both TAC ARs, the Chapter 5 and the Chapter 4 version of the Season 9 one. Like they're both kind of underpowered, but the original TAC AR is a lot better though. And then on May 3rd, we had this crappy Star Wars update. I'm pretty sure this might have been the update that removed rarities, I'm not sure. But they added the E11 blaster rifle, which wasn't that good. The Wookiee bowcaster, that sucked to be honest. And that's pretty much about it. And they also vaulted the cluster clingers, thank god it finally did. And almost all the avatar mythics. Yeah, that's about it for the loot pool for this season. In my opinion, loot pool is probably one of the worst I've ever seen. It sucks. Like all the weapons, they're either like unbalanced or just suck mostly. Almost all of them do. But yeah, other than that, time to move on to the battle pass. I'm being honest, this battle pass is kind of mid to be honest. I mean, the only skins I actually liked was Poseidon and maybe Hades. Like he's decent in some styles, but others not really. The super styles weren't that good, and also despite this entire like battle pass being like Greek gods, it's still kind of forgettable anyway. Yeah, the battle pass kind of sucked in my opinion. Kind of short, but this like segment is, but yeah, it wasn't that good in my opinion. Same with the secret skin being like from Avatar: Last Airbender for some reason. Despite it literally being a Greek god season, they could have had like Kratos instead, but maybe they didn't have the rights for it. But now for the better part of the season, that being the map. Well, see, this map is I don't know, it's like better but worse than the season 1 map. Like don't get me wrong, the Mount Olympus biome is like really beautiful, especially when like the sun sets and you're playing like higher graphics ends. But at the same time, they did get rid of Haiti Hillside, sadly. On POI they also got rid of as well was Ritzia Versa, and that turned into the Underworld. It was around that area anyway. Also, the Underworld is POI and Grimgate. Outside of season 2, I would just not land there really. But but don't get me wrong, it is quite nice to fight in there, in the Underworld biome, and it looks really nice like now, even though like I'm literally recording this on the very last day of Chapter 5 Season 4. I feel like when they changed the like whatever the hell water is from green to red, that was a really nice change, but they didn't do that till like 2 seasons after. Overall, this map, I don't really know what to feel about it. It's like better but worse than Season 1. Honestly, the map is still pretty good anyway. I'm still not complaining about it, but yeah. Time to move on to new changes. Okay, for the new changes for this season then. They also like later on removed rarities. Not sure in what update exactly. exactly. I don't know. But they also added 2 new weapon mods. That being the speed foregrip, which is pretty useless to be honest. Probably the most useless out of all the like underbarrel attachments. And also the thermal optic, which replaced the P2X optic, which honestly they should have not got rid of the P2X optic. I think it was really good as it was, especially on something like the Nemesis assault rifle. It's still in the game on Montague's assault rifle, but I feel like they should have just added the thermal optic as a new like scope in it. Now there's actually a pretty good change this season. I will give them credit here, where they added medallions actually did something apart from heal health. Obviously later on in season 1 they nerfed the hell out of medallions, sadly, and also for the better as well. But this time you could have abilities like increased damage, siphon, underworld dash. I'm not sure what exactly underworld dash is, the actual name for it is, and also like increased like jump and overall stamina. Really, overall, I actually really like what they did with the like medallions. One thing I don't really like, or it's kind of pointless anyway, but it's a still okay feature anyway, with shadow briefings. Now this thing, like, let's be honest, you most likely only did this when it was a supply drop one, or when like a weekly or daily challenge. Totally do. These things are pretty useless. They probably get taken out like in chapter 6 anyway. We just added the weapon bunker, which, like, don't get me wrong, it is good to be fair. Like, but I feel like if that's the only place you have to go to mod your guns, there's a little problem with it. It's a nice feature, but I feel like they should, like, you know, refine it more, really. And yeah, that's pretty much about it for the features they added, at least from what I can remember. And for my final opinion of the season, honestly, Epic Games could have made this season a lot better. This season had a lot of potential being a good season. Honestly, they didn't do that much of a good job in it, but... And also I remember the downtime as well, that was extended on March 8th. Well, to the point where most people couldn't even play the season on the launch day, really. Honestly, this season had a really crappy loot pool. One of my least favorite seasons, but at the same time, I don't really want to hate it because it had good potential, the map was good. But honestly, just looking back at it, I did not like this season, to be honest. I mean, you might have, but I just don't really. Yes, that's about it for season 2, really. Alright, now it's time for a kind of controversial season. Chapter 5 Season 3 lost, like, a lot of player base. Like, from the first day, really. And that must have been because the cars were really overpowered. But the loot pool wasn't as overpowered, though. So to start, they added the combat shotgun, well, chapter 5 version of it. The mythic hand cannon, which could do up to, like, what? 185, like, pump shotgun headshot damage. Like, for his headshot multiplier. A boom bolt, which is actually one of my favorite, like, explosive weapons. Like, favorite guns in this, well, yeah, it is a gun, but, like, it's one of my favorite, like, just items this chapter, really. Another one of my favorites are Nitro Fists as well. Those are really good mobility. But they also unvaulted Oscar's Frenzy Auto Shotgun. This was nerfed though. And they also unvaulted the Enforcer AR, which, I mean, they probably unvaulted it just because they got rid of, like, the goated Nemesis AR. And I was kind of annoyed when they got rid of that. And I actually hope they haven't. I actually hope they didn't vault the Nemesis AR just to put the crappier Enforcer AR. Like, come on, everyone would take the Nemesis over the Enforcer. Let's be real. They also added, what else? Like Nitro splashes and Nuka-Cola as part of the Fallout collab. And later on, they did add the Tri-Beam Laser Rifle as as part of the Fallout collab. And this is kind of controversial, but I did not like the combat assault rifle, the chapter 5 version. The chapter 2 version is, well, the version we have, like, still in creative now. It's called the Legacy one. The chapter 2 version is really good. The chapter 5 one just isn't that good, to be honest. But they did vault the Warforged, which, I mean, because of that. but at the same time, the Warforged was kind of useful for just gunning down cars, really. Later on, they added the Chapter 5 version of the Heavy Sniper, got the Heavy Impact Sniper Rifle. I mean, this thing, it was still a sniper anyway. I'll give them that. But a little too much bullet drop on it, like Reaper Sniper bullet drop on it. But I will give them one thing, is that like every Fortnite sniper pretty much that only holds one bullet in its mag has like a pretty big mag. But this one only holds like one bullet, and like its design also holds one bullet as well. So I'll give them that as well. And oh yeah, I forgot we had the Metallica collab that season as well. Ride the Lightning was probably one of the best like mobility items ever. You would like get sent up in the air and go flying, to be honest. And Magneto power. Oh my god, I hate this thing so much. This was like the water bending of this season, but not as bad, obviously. It was still overpowered though, but it wasn't as bad as like water bending was. He also accidentally unvaulted the Grey Pistol because the Wanderer was added that season, which, surprise, it was actually just Dr. Doom, who would have thought. And they also added the Flintlock Pistol, and eventually Shipping a Ball for the Pirates of the Caribbean collab, on like what, July 19th was. Yeah, this is when the season really started to get dry then, to be honest. But they did eventually add the minigun on August 6th. I literally remember almost exactly what happened that day as well. But they did make the minigun bullet drop though. But don't be that like annoyed about it, because the Mythic Brutus minigun from Chapter 2 Season 2 is still it's still hit scan though. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it for the loot pool really. A lot better than last season, or almost any other season this chapter really. The loot pool was one of the strong points of the season. It wasn't perfect though. I mean, the Enforced AR was in there and it was too common to find really. But yeah, other than that, loot pool for the season, it's pretty good. And now it's time to talk about the Battle Pass. And then this Battle Pass is actually pretty good. It's not as good as Season 1, but still decent anyway. Machinist is an alright tier 1. And what else do we have? Rust in his second style, where he has the mask, like the rustled mask, so that's pretty good. And what else? We also have T60 power armor, which part of the Fallout collab. Not a bad skin to be honest, but there is better in the Battle Pass, such as Megalodon, of course. I mean, like in his later super styles, like this skin would look a lot better, to be honest. And to be honest, super styles, they were really good this season. They were like almost all well made, and, like most of them would fit all the like characters they gave the super styles to. But yeah, this season Battle Pass is pretty good. And Magneto and his like unmasked styles, that's pretty decent. But yeah, I'm actually glad I own this Battle Pass, and it's pretty good overall. Okay, now for the map for the season. It wasn't as good as the Wasteland biome was a good addition, but the POIs in the Wasteland biome, including Sandy Steep, just wasn't that good, to be honest. And I feel like Nitrodome is like probably my least favorite POI ever, just because it sucks really. Redline Rig, I never landed at, to be honest. Or Redline Ruins is now known. Rural Beachhead, have I even landed there like this season? Probably not. And they also sadly ruined Snooty Steeps, Sandy Steep. But like don't get me wrong, Sandy Steeps is still not that bad though. But it was like the old Snooty Steeps was better as well. And towards the end of the season, in the Pirates of the Caribbean update, they did add a new POI. That being called, was it like Shipwreck Showers or something? I was only in game for 2 weeks actually, and it was the shortest lived POI out of in the entire game really. Like the only POIs that came close to that was a Collider and Starry Suburbs from like Chapter 3, Season 2 and Season X, which were in the game for 3 weeks. Other than that, the map wasn't that good, to be honest. It was still better than last season though. Now for the new changes of the season. Added Wasteland challenges, the Nitro effect, the like thing at peril stations, that would heal your car and fuel it at the same time. The like flaming boost tube, whatever it's called. I don't know. Also the slurp cactus. I feel like almost all these like stuff they added were really good, to be honest. Like features. The cars were overpowered at the start. And they also added vehicle mods you drove into. Overall, the changes were actually pretty decent in my opinion. And this doesn't have to do with Battle Royale, which is this like, video has to do with is like talking about. But they did add Reload, which honestly kind of carried the end of the season really. Fortnite Reload is a really good game mode in my opinion. And honestly, sometimes on certain weeks I play it more than Zero Build. Overall, the season did bring a lot to the table, but was kind of hated and did get kind of stale towards the end. Overall, the season is just way too overhated, but it wasn't that good though. But it did bring a lot to the table. Battle Pass was decent. Most of the guns this season were pretty good. And the season did get kind of like stale or dry towards the end. Like towards like the last 4 weeks of the season really, which usually only happens the last 2-3 weeks. But yeah, other than that, the season was overhated and wasn't as bad as people say it is. But it isn't perfect though. It isn't the best season though. Alright, so let's move on to Chapter 5, Season 4 then. This season is pretty good in my opinion. And the loot pool is also pretty good as well. So to start, they added 4 new like guns. They did, and one being a striker burst rifle. This like basically every other striker burst rifle. Burst AR is pretty good to be honest. Its base form isn't like perfect though. The accuracy isn't that good on its base form. But then again, when you do you know, like fully mod the gun out, then the weapon's really good. And they also have the Sovereign shotgun. This is the best shotgun of the entire chapter, as well as the Gatekeeper shotgun. And honestly, it's basically the best shotgun in the entire game. Well, one of the best shotguns in the entire game. And the dual micro SMGs are also a pretty decent pair of SMGs. I especially like Gwenpool's Mythic variant. They later added on. And they also added a Monarch pistol, which is like a 6-shooter revolver hand cannon type hybrid thing. But obviously, since this season's a Marvel season, they of course have to add like the Marvel items. The first ones added were Doctor Doom's Arcane Gauntlets, which honestly these things are pretty good there. And actually, up they add them to creative then. Captain America's shield, which was really overpowered at first, but they nerfed the hell out of it. Like not even before like the first update, I'm for sure. Like the 0.10 update, it was like before that. And now this thing's like already useless and you just find it way too often. But the War Machine's like set is actually really good as well. There's like Arsenal gloves things he has. Those are really powerful. They shoot like missiles and they also have some like SMG type thing on them. I'm not sure exactly what it is. But that's actually surprisingly accurate, the spray mode of it. He also has his auto turret, which I mean is also really good as well. I keep dying to it loads, well, and it's pretty useful in fights as well. And War Machine's hover jets, I hate these things to be honest. I'm not the best at using it, but there are some times where it can be like useful, but then again, pretty much I never find this thing anyway. And it is really hard to kill people when they're like high up in the air and you spraying you down, whatever. Especially if they have some like Iron Man gauntlets or the Doctor Doom one. And they also unvaulted the Striker on Hyper SMG and some other things like the Floorberry and the train and all that. But they did also vault quite a lot. They vaulted the TAC AR, the minigun, Tri-Beam Laser Rifle, hand cannon, the Burst and Harbinger SMG, the Combat Shotgun, hand cannon. They vaulted quite a lot, to be honest. And they did later add some other stuff to the loot pool, obviously like Gwenpool's dual micro SMGs, which honestly they're really good, their SMGs are, but they also added Shuri's Black Panther claws, which I mean, once again, they're really good as well. And what else? The Iron Man set as well, though. His combat kit and his flight kit. This combat kit used to be really good. It used to have like really good like aimbot on it pretty much. But then they nerfed the hell out of it pretty much. But his flight kit is kind of rare but really useful though. It's like one of the best mobility items in the game. And they also did unvault the Stark Industries rifle in the same 31.20 update. Oh, but the Stark Industries rifle is, but this season around is terrible. It's like the recoil is way too much, and the only use it actually has on it is like, or maybe like hip firing for killing bots or whatever. Because basically the gun just sucks, to be honest. And later on in the Fortnite mode update, they unvaulted the wood stick shotgun, pumpkin launcher, and then eventually give us the chainsaw as well. Overall, a loot pool in the season is pretty good. But now it's time to talk about the battle pass then. Let's see, this battle pass isn't that good. The only skins I really like is Doctor Doom and Captain Jones. That's pretty much about it. I mean, it is a Marvel battle pass, so you still get some like iconic characters anyway. But yeah, battle pass not really for me, but it's still not bad anyway, and I appreciate the effort Epic Games have put into it. Also, the super styles aren't that good either, and I feel like with most skins they just don't go that well. Yeah, nice time to talk about the map then. Now, the map this season is honestly great, to be honest. The new POIs added were pretty good. My favorite being Castle Doom was my favorite POI they added. Also, the Raft is pretty good, and Doomsday is a decent replacement to that Lavish Lair. And Doom's Courtyard pretty much is a reskin of classic coats really. But in the Fortnite Mids update, which is honestly, I appreciate the effort they put into it. They give us actually a decent amount of content that year. Not that year, this year. They give us like, I say one new POI and one reskin of a POI. And that being Freaky Fields they replaced. They replaced the Reckless Railways with, I don't know what they're thinking when they're calling this place. But yeah, they also reskinned Brawler's Battleground to Brawler's Patch, I'm pretty sure. And they also changed some like POIs like Grand Glacier, I think. That have like Halloween like decorations on it, which, I mean, you didn't have to do that to Grand Glacier, but yeah, overall this map is really good, to be honest. I really enjoy this map, and endgames this map as well, especially in like the Underworld. That's a nice place to fight in, said like 2 seasons ago, but yeah. Other than that, this map's really good this season. But I mean, it's kind of a shame, but also good that we're seeing a new map, like, twice actually in the next like, month. Or like tomorrow, in fact, as I'm making this video. For the new changes this season, well, there isn't really any, but they did add like medallions with new abilities though. That one being like the Emma Frost one, for example. This pretty much like highlights all the enemies around you, which honestly this is really useful, to be honest. I'm surprised they didn't have it before. This is my favorite medallion. They also had the Mysterio stealth medallion as well, which, I mean, it's basically just I wouldn't say reskin, but it's like if you crouch, you have the invisibility gauntlet effect from like chapter 14.3. But yeah, there aren't really any, well, that new features that they added on launch, but they did eventually add the Isle of Doom, which I never became Dr. Doom in the LTM or just the Isle of Doom, because I always got like third party or whatever. And they also added like the War Machine and Stark like things that fall out from the sky and give you whatever. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but yeah. There weren't that many changes made this season, but yeah, I'm gonna just leave it there. Overall, my opinions on this season were kind of mixed from the start, really. I just did not like it at the start, really. It was really laggy for me, and then some of the Marvel stuff were way too overpowered at the start, but then they did eventually, you know, tone down the power of the Marvel stuff, really. And they also provide us with like a lot of content as well throughout pretty much all of Chapter 5, really, apart from like Season 1 and 2 as well. Honestly, I enjoyed the season, really. I haven't played Battle Royale or Zero Build that much compared to other seasons. I've mostly just played Reload and creative maps. And also Black Ops 6 as well. Yeah, honestly, I enjoyed the season. It's pretty good, like, finale for Chapter 5, really. Even if the map doesn't really show like it is. Like how, you know, it should be. Yeah, I'm really excited for the event later today, which is like what, in like 8 hours, exactly 8 hours and 20 minutes time when I'm recording this, like right now. But yeah, I'm gonna just talk about the rest of the like my opinions on this chapter really in the next part of the video. All right, now it's time for my opinions on chapter 5. Then I really liked season 1 and 4 to be honest, but I hated season 2, and season 3 was overall decent really. If I had to rate like every season, I'd probably say 4 and 1 are kind of on the same level really, and I'm not really sure which one I'd pick over the other. Well, I wouldn't mind go back to chapter 5 season 1 to re-experience the fun I had at the time. And I'd probably say like both seasons are like season 1 and 4 are both 8.5 out of 10s. Say season 3 is a 6 out of 10. I'd say season 2 is like a 4 out of 10. Kind of harsh with the ratings here, but I'm just being brutally honest here. To be honest. And I will give credit where credit is due here, and I feel like Fortnite did a pretty good job with the like mini events and providing us with actual like events, whatever, and the storyline. This chapter, to be honest, storyline is not as good as how it was in like chapter 2 to like halfway through chapter 3. I still appreciate the effort they put into it, and I'm really excited for the event later. It's in like what 8 hours or like 15 minutes before, as of when I'm recording this right now. But yeah, honestly, chapter 5, mixed bag, but it wasn't that bad, I guess. I mean, I still prefer chapter 4. Like, chapter 4 is amazing in my opinion. Season 1 of chapter 4 wasn't that good, and season 2, 3, and 4 are amazing in my opinion. Yeah, I actually liked season 3. I'm probably the only guy to ever say that. I don't know why people hate it, but then again, most people just hate season 3s. And yeah, was it a fail? Was chapter 5 a fail? Honestly, yeah, no, really. Like no matter how good like chapter 5 would have been, people still would have left the game anyway, because look, like chapter 5 literally like happened like a month after we had season OG, and that's when everyone came back to play the game really. And honestly, season OG wasn't that bad. I feel like they could have done better. It is really overrated. Obviously, that it brought back a lot of players, and obviously a lot of them left as soon as the live event ended, which I never got to experience because the servers were acting up. I waited in like a 3-hour long queue twice just to get it. But yeah. And obviously it was the end of season 1, a lot of people left as well. But then season 3, the start of that, just like made even more people leave really. And I doubt season 4 really did much of a player base, probably just like maybe increased it or heck even decreased it. But what I say is fail, honestly, no, because chapter 5 did have higher play, probably has higher player count numbers than chapter 4, which ever did really. And although I might not like the changes Epic made or the direction they go in with Fortnite, I have got to say like they did a pretty good job with chapter 5 really. Apart from season 2, that was missed potential right there. But then again, most of the stuff like issues they faced with the player base, that kind of was inevitable. Anyway, like no matter how good the seasons could have been, if it wasn't the chapter 1 map, people were gonna leave anyway. So overall, chapter 5, I don't know how to rate it out of 10 really, because the like opinions on the season are all over the place. Honestly, I'd say chapter 5 pretty good, to be honest. Yeah, that's pretty much it then for this roller coaster of a chapter. And we're literally on this last day right now of the season, and the live event is literally in a couple hours. But yeah, I'm so glad to finally finish this video, even though it took me like 2 days to make. And honestly, it's been really hard to record this video, to be honest, because like if I mess up one thing, I have to like record an entire segment again. And sorry if my mic sounds like crap or I'm not speaking as clearly as I could be. Then again, it is because I've pretty much said almost the same thing like a lot of times before on certain parts of it. But yeah, I'm really glad to actually finally like finish recording this video out and editing, so it took like what, 2 hours probably to do. Yeah, overall, thank you for watching. Thank you, like, especially thank you if you like stuck around for this long. And I doubt anyone's really gonna watch this video. This video's gonna get like 14 views. But yeah, thanks for watching. I've like the 10 people who are gonna watch this, and if you are like watching live event later, which for me is at 10:30 p.m. It's past my bedtime, but you know, yeah, I actually hope you enjoyed the event and just enjoy the rest of your day as well. Alright, peace out.